Continue the very latest on this October nor'easter. Who knew we would have this kind of weather in October?
Hopefully you're breathing a sigh of relief that you didn't have that many problems at your house, but a lot of folks are dealing with problems this morning. We want to go to Lowell now, and Sean Kelly looking at a lot of folks there dealing with problems.
Well, those of you who have been following us all morning know that we've been keeping a close eye on this huge tree or the limbs that came down in front of a house where the Flahertys live. The tree is now being cut up. It's the sounds of the morning after, if you will, as the chainsaws come out around Lowell. This was one of the bigger problems that we saw in terms of damage. The tree limbs fell down on two of the cars in front of their house. Two of the people inside said they heard a lot of popping. It sounded like gunshots to them when this tree was coming down. They didn't get a lot of snow in Lowell, but what they did get was very heavy. They have a lot of power outages. About 11,000 people are without power in Lowell, 9,600 in Dracut, Billerica, and Chelmsford, also with about 10,000 people without power. So as the cleanup continues, there is a lot of snow to be removed from the driveway, heavy snow anyway, and trees to be removed, as well as people wait to get their power back on. We are live in Lowell. Sean Kelly, News Center 5.
All right, Sean, thank you very much. Of course, there are those moments in live television that happen from time to time, and we don't have to.
This is one of them.
Yeah, Jim Lokay can tell us all about it.
Take a look at it.
Whoa, whoa. All right, I think we better go at this point.
And, you know,
it's
so funny because not really that funny, but Jim Lokay was just telling us about the kind of threat that is out there for all of us this morning in terms of these heavy limbs hanging over power lines and hanging over your head.
That's right, and of course they're snapping, and it sounds like, as Jim pointed out and some of our other viewers we talked to earlier, it almost sounds like there are gunshots as these branches snap. And Jim, you're okay. That's the first good news we want to let people know. But you've been in Shrewsbury all morning long, and I imagine you're probably seeing a lot of those branches still coming down.
Yeah, and we're also seeing a lot of snow coming down as the wind picks up, and you can see it's knocking some of these like frozen snow nuggets out onto the pavement. That's obviously not too much of an issue, but as we start seeing the snow maybe melting a little bit, and as the wind picks up, we are hearing some of those quote-unquote gunshots. And one thing, I don't know if we're going to be able to show you this, but just a few minutes ago, can we show the branch, or can I at least drag it out of the way? So they're in the truck here. And let me come right over here. This fell right on top of our truck, and I want to show you this as soon as this car gets out of the way here as they make their way down here on Prospect in Shrewsbury, right outside Mount Olivet Lutheran Church. This hit our truck right under a tree. It fell onto our truck. Everybody's okay here as well, but it really is indicative of what people are dealing with this morning. And over here on the corner, if we could pan over, you can see that house that we've been taking a look at throughout the morning. Just the damage, the amount of trees, the amount of branches that fell in that yard. I took a look at the house on Google Maps. They had a Google Street View. Obviously, it looks nothing like that. You could at least see the house from the street. It's pretty much obscured for the most part now as you push your way down here on Prospect in Shrewsbury. Let me get this tree out of the way, obviously. We don't want to cause any undue problems for people driving through. But we did talk to some people in the area this morning who were just walking through. Some people affected by power, and here's what they had to say.
I came to check out the church because we go here. So I'm planning the service this morning, and I wanted to make sure that the parking lot was plowed. So.
And everything's okay?
Yeah. Everything is fine. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we are set up outside that Mount Olivet Lutheran Church where that lady was about to, where she was going to play for services today. But that's for the most part what it's been like. There have been people driving around just to see the sights and to see what really, under any other circumstance, would be almost a postcard-like view. As for Shrewsbury, how they fared power-wise, at this point, about 2,200 to 2,700 people without power this morning. But it has been fairly uneventful at this point. Some of those side roads covered with snow, and we've seen some power lines down in those areas. But again, for the most part, it's getting back to normal here in Shrewsbury, and that's where we're live this morning. I'm Jim Lokay, News Center 5.
All right, Jim. Beautiful winter wonderland if you don't have problems and you have electricity at your house. But, of course, so many people here in New England do not have electricity this morning. We're all kind of making the comparison to the last big storm.
Right.
This is, of course, the worst winter storm that we've had at this time of the year. But, you know, if you compare it to Irene, this is the situation here. We have about 650,000 people out in Massachusetts alone. There were 750,000 at the peak during Hurricane Irene.
Now, the question is, how long is it going to last? As many people know, sadly, from firsthand experience during Hurricane Irene, in some cases, people did not have power for more than a week. So right now, it's just still unclear when the power is going to be back on. And here's another interesting thing we just learned, that Unitil, which is one of the power companies, has about 28,000 customers in the area. Nearly 24,000 of their 28,000 people are without power. That's how serious this is across the country.
New polls show him
about the time it took to get the power back on. So the utility companies have been working around the clock and doing the best they can.
Patience is going to be the word of the day, and hopefully only one day, but we don't know.
So many public servants out during the course of the night dealing with all kinds of issues, down power lines, explosions from transformers going down, and one huge fire in the city of Boston overnight.
That's right. Firefighters working very, very hard to take care of this 5-alarm fire in Boston. John Atwater has been on the scene for much of this early morning hour. John, I know that firefighters were still there a little while ago, so bring us up to date as to what's happened there and the fact that lives were saved, thankfully, in this storm.
Lives were saved. Really some incredible stories coming out of this fire, Liz. And yes, firefighters still here on the scene. You can see them still throwing water on this building. Actually, it's 2 buildings. The fire started obviously in one unit, then spread to another. Firefighters, of course, this morning still looking for a cause as they continue to douse the hot spots here. And of course, you know, fighting any fire is just so difficult. But then you add all the elements we had overnight, the wind, the rain, the snow here in Boston, and it really was a tough fight.
Obviously, this is cold, snowy, rainy, wet weather, and it's just miserable out.
It was a tough fight as the wind pushed the fire to the next door building. As the flames spread, a neighbor ran into the burning apartment, fearing that someone was inside.
I kicked it as hard as I could. I just wound up and gave it a good old boot.
Nick and Tonti did not back down as smoke filled the hallway.
I decided to go in and see if anyone was in the building next door. I went up to the 2nd floor. There was a woman up there. Just helped carry her out.
That woman's pets were also rescued. Paramedics gave them oxygen after they took in quite a bit of smoke. Firefighters said the flames damaged at least 9 apartments here.
It was helped by the wind. It was in the rear and moved forward, but it had a large volume of fire early on.
The fire gutted many units. Jennifer Torrey came home in costume after a party last night to find nothing left.
Everything, artwork, homework, a cat, my food, my clothes, my entire life, everything. Everything I owned.
Another live look here this morning as firefighters continue to throw water on the building. You heard from that woman who lost everything. She didn't get any sleep last night, nor did any of the people who live in the 9 units here. And you can imagine how difficult it was for firefighters. It's so cold and windy and snowy out here. All of those people, of course, waiting outside in all of the elements, watching the building here burn. Thankfully, everyone is going to be okay. Firefighters estimating over $1 million of damage here. We're live in Mission Hill this morning. John Atwater, News Center 5.
All right, John, thank you. As we can see there, the sun is up, and with the brightness of the morning, we can see an increasing number of problems throughout New England communities.
But we're also seeing some beautiful shots as well. This is one of them. It's 36.
What's also remarkable is when this fish got here, just 20 years ago.
By the mid
Continues.
Highly trained state troopers paid $40 an hour, 40 hours a week, to do one simple task: change a traffic light. Massport's $80,000 a year police detail, switching this traffic light since the 1990s. Team 5 investigates why Massport says their human traffic light should be no concern to you. Tonight at 11.